Yeah.
If you go to somebody's house and they say, make yourself at home, most people don't mean that.
Right.
It's a polite thing to say to you and start scrambling eggs. It means have a seat. Right, it means have a seat. But
Right.
so for me, I like being home. You know, in Ghana, I had that home in Senegal, and most places I go, I want that kind of relationship with.
Yeah.
Before I go, I'm calling. Who's there?
Mm.
And that's the essence of being African. It's family.
Exactly. Exactly. 100%.
It's having that family member. You know how African people do. It's a family member everywhere.
Absolutely.
It's the same in the U.S. It's the same in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same in the Caribbean.
Absolutely.
I want to add to that too. I think Black people, when you leave America, and this might offend some Black people leaving America, going and traveling, but we show up as you show up as America.
Right.
You're not showing up as Black American. You're showing up as American with privilege. So when you go places, you like, well, we from so and so. It's like, no, it's almost like it can borderline be Karen like,
yeah,
or whatever the male version of a Karen is,
right?
Because you go into other people's, saying backyards, and you don't realize you're acting like this. But in America, we have a certain level of privilege that we're just accustomed to. We don't realize that we're behaving like this. And I think that, and I say this, and you were probably here, Diallo, when this happened, but twerking on top of Elmina Castle.
Right, yo, bro. I got a call from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and I have it was like, get your people. The call was basically like, I was like, well, what made you, at the time I was the president of the African American Association of Ghana. So I got the call like, we were told to, they were like, is this the president of the diaspora? I was like, sure. Yes, it is. How can I help you? Well, we've gotten a number of calls and complaints about the Black Americans who were twerking at the dungeon, and it was just like, so, and I was like, I think the question I asked him is what would you like me to do? Like, what would you like my response to be to do? Well, we don't know. We just calling you to inform you. I said, okay. So I drafted a response, but I never sent it out. What I did do is I called them back and I said, you don't get to choose which issues you call me for with my people. If you're going to call on us, then call on us.
Right.
But you can't just call us when we're in trouble. You don't call us to sit at the table because there's a new grant, there's an opportunity, there's a contract of the government, there's this. Like, if you're going to call us, or at least when I'm at the helm, then call us. Like, make this a real thing. Don't just because we react and we respond so much.
Exactly.
And it's like, listen, if you understood the trauma that Black people go through, then you will understand that in their mind, twerking for the ancestors was the best that they can do to give honor. That's crazy to say. But in their mind, this is what I can do. And then a psychologist would say, that's mass pain. They were hurting so much that all they could do is find a way to laugh and joke about it because they didn't know how to deal with hearing that women on their menstrual cycle sat in a room with each other for months on end amongst their own menstrual blood, feces, urine, aborted babies, kids, and lived. So if you're a Black woman and you hear that, and your response is to twerk, something is off.
That's a valid point. Now I wanted to say that it's a reaction to, we have endured a lot of pain.
Yeah.
I think the term is the same thing of make you laugh or make you cry. And I think that, when I hear sometimes us doing things in those settings, I am sometimes like, wow. I mean, I love my people apologetically. You embrace, good love all my people. And I do want to say, typically I'm an advocate for twerking, just not as done.
Right. Yeah. But we appreciate the talent and the skill that goes involved. That's involved with left, right, butt cheek choreography.
That's another
I heavily appreciate that from a woman. That you can choreograph your butt cheeks to do that is talent.
Yeah.
That's ancestral talent.
There's a question though, because you talked about this idea of the the kind of, hysterical pain and suffering, you both mentioned this, that may have caused this. And you're telling us too, I'll say, at what point do we say, though, that yes, the pain is there, but there's also a personal responsibility?
You know what's so crazy about you asking this question? I will tell you what's so crazy. On the way here, we was talking about these hard conversations, right? I
Mhm.
was like, I think I'm going to do a YouTube session called Hard Conversations. And the topic is, do Black people complain too much? It's a question,
Right.
but it's not the question you're asking, but it's in the same vein. At what point? And I think a part of what you said earlier was the solution.
Right.
People here, whoever brought them on tour,
Yes.
had a responsibility
Yes.
to say, this is a place for this.
Right.
And then they also had a responsibility to say, this is what I'm supposed to do here.
Right.
So in 2018, we brought the Backyard Band here. And they performed. And we performed in the dungeon on top of the male slave dungeon. Now, that was a fight. That was a fight.
Fight with who?
That was a fight with the government and the local community.
Let's see.
Because it felt like a desecration. You're partying on the graves of our ancestors. This is a solemn place for this. And my approach at the time was, I said, I think we give the transatlantic slave trade too much power and too much credit. It was an interruption to our history, not our history, number one. The time period is also a very small time period from a fractional standpoint with regards to African civilization, number two. And number three, we shouldn't come here to feel sorry for ourselves. We should come here to celebrate our resilience. Because when we come here and we hear the stories and we see this, and the fact that we have literally returned to come back means that it's literally defining us as a people. It's almost like, yo, we took your best punch.
Yes.
With our hands behind our back. And we shook it off.
Yeah.
So for me, I needed them to understand that, and you'll see this language inside of the Year of Return.